Richie, I'm just curious, Pochettino, like his name is never far from the back pages or the front pages, and, you know, we had him connected with the Manchester United job, the Real Madrid thing is still there. He's done an amazing job with this group of players. Hasn't signed anybody in the last 2 windows. Of course, they're building the new stadium, which is sucked about £1 billion. That's what it's costing. It's a phenomenal thing. But he's been tetchy over the last couple of weeks. He had the row with the officials in the Burnley match, wasn't it? And he was given out yesterday about the lack of preparation time for this.
He was, and he started the season. He gave an interview where he said he was in a very low place, which raised a lot of eyebrows at the time. But I'd love to know what his thinking is now, because his stock as a manager probably has never been higher. As you're right, he's linked with a lot of other jobs. I don't know whether the Man United job is something he's in line for, given how Solskjaer's done. The Real Madrid job is going to probably be available soon. And I don't know how much he can think he can achieve with this Tottenham squad, particularly with an owner who has a fairly tight control over the finances. As you said, the stadium is going to take up a lot of their money. I don't know about the personal ambitions of the players. Eriksen's contract situation is up. They don't have a huge transfer spend to bring in players. So I would imagine that if a serious bid comes in from another club, I think, given how Tottenham could go in the next couple of years, I think he'd be daft to turn it down. He like Daniel Levy, will do his best to hang on to him, will make it as difficult as possible for him to leave.
And you wouldn't blame
I wouldn't blame him at all, but
I
I wouldn't blame Pochettino at all now for looking at the wider picture and thinking, do you know what, if a job comes up, it's the time to go.
So, like, Didi, do you to develop that point, like, is he at a crossroads in his career? Does he, you know, we've said that this is probably their best chance of winning a trophy. The Premier League is unlikely. And he has done this great job with very limited funds, albeit a hugely talented squad. But they haven't, like, Moura is the last player they signed a year ago.
Yeah, his stock can't rise any further, because he may win a League Cup and an FA Cup with Spurs in the next year if he were to stay. But he ain't going to win the league, and he ain't going to win the Champions League with that squad. That's the bottom line, because when you look at strength in depth, if you look at Liverpool, if you look at United, if you look at Manchester City, they're miles behind. And he's punching above, or Spurs are punching above their weight for a number of years now. They were close to win the league when they lost their heads at Chelsea 2-3 years ago, just before the end of the season. And now people make out, oh, you know, they blew it again and they bottle it again. They haven't bottled. They shouldn't be where they are. They shouldn't be in the Champions League where they are, and they shouldn't be in the league where they are. Because if you look at United, even Arsenal, if you look at their net spend, if you look at their wage bill, they are way ahead of Spurs. And there will be a time where he's going to make a decision, because I think he won he won a trophy, a London trophy, for the best manager of last season or something. And he saw the funny side and he said, "Oh, finally, I won a trophy." So he's well aware of where he is in his career. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think he's probably one of the definitely top 5 managers in the world at the moment. Now, these guys want to win trophies. He won't be happy to finish 3rd or 4th or even 2nd with Spurs for the next 3 or 4 years. So if Man United were to come calling, if Real Madrid were to come calling, I'm pretty sure he's at a stage now where he says, I can't bring that club any further forward. I've done what I could have done. Obviously, Levy doesn't want him to go. He's got a new stadium. And then if he goes, there might be an exodus, because he's got a very close relationship with the players. So it's a tricky situation for Spurs. He's got a long contract, so they can demand an awful lot of money. But I'm pretty sure in this day and age that somebody will pay it.
Let's just have a look, because you mentioned, Didi, about net spend. And we have a graphic here to show you and to illustrate that. And Liam, you know, when you look at that figure on the right, net spend, second down, 24.2 million sterling, compared to, look at Manchester United, look at Man City. It's just, that's an amazing, it's a staggering figure.
Tottenham is run as a business, Dara, and they also created this big project of a new stadium at White Hart Lane, and it's cost an awful lot of money, and a lot of things have gone wrong. So that's a reflection there of the stadium, the fact there's only 24 million on the board, but they are run as a business as well. They're being a selling club. They've done well at the start of this season to hold on to their better players. A number of them signed new contracts. I'm thinking of Harry Kane, Dele Alli. So it's run well, and the scouting has been brilliant. You know, we talked about Alderweireld, we talked about Vertonghen, They have a number of players that the song that they've recruited cheaply who are now worth a lot of money. If you compare that team to Arsenal, they probably have, I would say, about 4 or 5 50 million plus players. Do you know what I mean, Dara? That they would cost 50 million or more. Harry Kane would probably go above 100 million. Arsenal haven't got anybody that would cost 50 million, in my opinion. So Spurs are in a good position at the moment, but can he win, as Didi and Richie says, can he win the Premier League with this squad without investing a lot of money? I don't think he can. So for that reason, I believe he has a deal with Daniel Levy. I'm only thinking this now, I have no evidence of it.
Okay, yeah.
That if one of the big clubs come along, there's a get-out price that a Real Madrid would have to pay. And I think Real Madrid will change their manager at the end of this season. They're 12 points behind Barcelona. They've been beaten twice by Barcelona just recently. They'll be changing their manager, and I'm convinced that Pochettino is the number one choice for them.
I'd be amazed if such a clause doesn't exist in his contract, because when he signed it again, he was linked to other clubs, and he'd be privy to a lot of the information that we're now. We're kind of guesswork, like when will Levy give more money to spend, or how much of a drain will the stadium have on the squad. But they've a wage bill which they've been fairly resistant to changing for a while, and they're not, like, that table is remarkable. It just shows what a good job he's done to get the club in the position he's in. But if his ambition is to win trophies, he's not going to do it at Tottenham. Not the major trophies, and I don't know what currency or value a League Cup or an FA Cup has anymore in the bigger scheme of things.
Okay.